Hey everyone. In this video, I want to talk about how to take the leap of faith and ask someone out. I realize that this is kind of difficult for people on the shyer end of the spectrum, so I wanted to make this video to help you. And I wanted to start off by addressing the number one reason why people are afraid to ask others out, and this is a fear of rejection. So rejection is usually the biggest problem and the biggest hurdle for asking someone out in the first place. So I figured I'd start the video by tackling that right away. So rejection, you want to start thinking of it as a good thing. And here's why. There are a few things, but one of them is that getting rejected is far better than thinking those thoughts of what could have been. Because at least you'll have answers. You'll have closure on the situation, pretty much. But another thing to think about here is that you want to be choosing people who choose you for relationships and even dating, right? A lot of people kind of don't realize the importance of that, but it's huge. If you're choosing someone who isn't choosing you, then it's a one-sided relationship. You're putting in all this effort, you like them, but your feelings aren't reciprocated. That always leads to hurt and you getting hurt because they're the one who isn't choosing you. So knowing that the best relationships and the most fun you'll have dating are with people who are choosing you as much as you choose them, then when someone rejects you, it's a good thing. It means they're not choosing you, so they're saving you from that future pain if they pretended to like you just to save your feelings, or they enjoyed prolonging the inevitable. Who knows? Or maybe they enjoy the attention or validation that you're putting on them. I can't think of a better word. But you don't want that. You want someone to reject you sooner rather than later so they save your time and energy. And like I said, save you from that future hurt, that future pain. So when someone rejects you, it's a good thing. But here's another thing for you to think about with rejection. I could go on for a long time about rejection, but another thing that's really interesting here is that when you barely know someone and they barely know you, if you get rejected by them, they're not rejecting you. Why? Because they don't know you. It's too early. They haven't taken the time to get to know you, right? They don't know shit about you. They don't know what your personality is like. They don't know what your hobbies are. They don't know what you're into, what your goals are. They don't know anything about you. So when they reject you, they aren't rejecting you. You need to realize it. It's so important. So many people are afraid of just going up to someone they find attractive when they're at a bar or something because they think that that person will be rejecting them. If they're a stranger, they don't know you at all. So if they reject you, it's probably due to outside reasons. Maybe they're seeing someone already, they're already taken. Maybe they're only visiting that area for a short period of time, so they don't want to actually start anything with someone else. Or maybe they just don't find you attractive. That sucks, but it happens so often because attraction is a big part of beginning the dating process, and we can't act like it isn't. It is. So sometimes that will happen as well. Or maybe, quite often this will happen more for men who are approaching women, but quite often women will reject a man if she doesn't like his vibe, his energy, because that's another huge part of attraction for women. Women are very much drawn to that. It's kind of like the more emotional side of attraction that men usually aren't in tune with, and that's why they don't understand why they can be attractive and still get rejected by women, because they're not just paying attention to your looks, okay? Women are not like men. I know for us guys, we get so just caught up in a woman's looks that we couldn't really think of rejecting a woman based on her, or a woman who is attractive. But hey guys, that happens. So your energy is a big part of it. But anyway, so those are all superficial reasons why you could get rejected by someone. But they have nothing to do with who you are as a person, your character, your personality. So you need to realize that. Basically, think of early rejections like this. They're not actually rejecting you, they're rejecting their idea of you. But that's not actually you. That's what you need to realize. This idea of you that they have in their mind is not you. So don't take rejection personally. That has helped me so much. Not even just in the dating world, but in life in general, because now, I wouldn't be making these videos if I was afraid of rejection, because you guys could reject me. You could say that my videos suck or that you don't like what I'm talking about, right? So rejection transcends dating. There's so many aspects of life that it's involved in. So it's really good to develop a healthier mentality around rejection, because it really isn't a bad thing. It saves you so much time and energy. So start thinking about it in that way. But anyway, now that I have rejection out of the way, because that's the most important part, I'll get on to more of technique and that sort of thing. So one of the huge things here is beyond just rejection, if you're afraid of asking someone out, meaning you literally feel fear, you have that fear response when you're walking up to them, just kind of try to embrace that fear. Try to embody it. Try to feel it in the moment. Try to get out of your head and try to feel in your body when you're feeling that fear. Where is it arising? Where is that fear coming from? Is it coming from your belly area? Try to just feel it and sit in that emotion. Basically, you want to feel the fear, but act anyway. That's what all brave people do. They still feel fear. They just act in spite of it. They don't let it stop them. So you don't need to let your fear stop you. You can choose to act despite it. And that's what a lot of people who are great at asking others out do, for the most part. This is usually going to be men, because let's face it, women don't tend to ask guys out too often. So for the most part, it is more men I'm talking about. But for the ladies out there, trust me, men really love it when you actually take the initiative. So if you develop this habit, it'll set you apart from the crowd and it'll be awesome. So this video is still for you just as much as it is for men. But yeah, you want to just feel fear, but act in spite of it. Don't let it stop you. It's a temporary emotion. And another thing that's really interesting that goes along with fear is you can be honest about how you're feeling when you're approaching someone to ask them out. You really can. You can walk up to them and say, hey, look, I saw you from afar and something about you just attracted me, and I would love the opportunity to get to know you better, and I'm feeling incredibly nervous right now because I don't normally do this, but there was just something about you that intrigued me, so I had to come over and say hello. Like, you can be honest about how you're feeling. That line in there about, like, I feel nervous, you can say that. You basically want to get to a place where you don't quite care about their judgment of you. It's a powerful place, because then you can embrace that fear or that nervousness, whatever you're feeling in the moment, and you can speak to it. And it's really endearing, but beyond that, it's attractive, because it shows that you're comfortable being vulnerable, you're confident, you're not caring so much about how they may judge you. For men, this is super powerful because women really like that. It's very attractive to women. I can't even begin to put into words how much it is. Like, the women, I hope you comment and verify this, because it really is. If you walk up to a woman you find attractive and you tell her, like, hey, I'm nervous as hell right now. Like, you are so attractive that it's just messing me up and I don't know why, but I just had to come over and talk to you. That is so attractive to women, because you're just being real, you're being authentic, and authenticity is an aphrodisiac, it really is. And so is honesty, but honesty and authenticity go hand in hand. But just embrace it, be you in spite of those emotions. It's much better than the men who act like they're stoic and confident in the face of feeling nervous as hell when they go and talk to an attractive woman. Women will usually be able to pick up on whatever you're feeling in the moment. They'll usually be able to tell that you're nervous, even if you don't speak to it. They'll notice it in some ways, maybe a disconnect between what you're saying and the way you're standing, or maybe they notice that your hand is shaking a bit when you're trying to act confident, or they'll just basically notice it in different ways. Even on a kind of emotional or energetic level, women can pick up on that. So you're usually better just being honest and embracing the fact that you're nervous and speaking to it, because then women will find that attractive and they'll know that you don't care. You're just owning those emotions that you're feeling. It's far better than the guys who won't even approach her in the first place. So an imperfect approach is better than none at all. So there you go. But on to the next thing. You want to let go of any attachment to the outcome. So if she ends up rejecting you, then oh well, that sucks. If she ends up saying yes, then awesome. That's cool. That's what you wanted. But at the same time, try not to get attached to either outcome, because you don't know which way it's going to go. It's 50-50. So just throw it out there to the universe and let go of wanting it to go a certain way. In fact, I would almost say you should kind of lean towards thinking it'll go wrong, just because at least that will kind of steel you a bit in case it does. So, but for the most part, try to let go of attachment to outcome as much as possible. But on to a pro tip here, something that's helped me a lot in life and that I learned from Zam Perrione. He's an awesome guy. He says that you should always try to use statements instead of questions when asking out women and people in general. So basically what this means is you want to invite people out on a date rather than asking them out. There's a huge difference there. When you invite someone out, it's basically coming from a place of, I want to say power, but I just hate that because it sounds manipulative, but that's kind of the psychology behind it. It's basically when you make statements, you're kind of saying that you already have things going on in your life and you also don't really care about being rejected because you're kind of not opening the door to it in a way. You're basically saying, hey, look, I find you attractive. I would love to get to know you better. I would love to grab coffee with you on Sunday at this time. And then if she says no, then okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. You basically just made a statement. You said, I would love to do this with you rather than, would you like to go out with me? I'm exaggerating, but like there's a difference there. There's a huge difference between asking a question and just making a statement. When you make a statement, you're basically speaking your truth and being authentic. You're saying, hey, look, I like you. I would like to get to know you. When you ask a question, there's something different. It's almost like you're opening the door to rejection for one, but it's almost kind of coming from like a supplicating or a place of supplication as well. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's kind of like weird. I can't really describe it, but there's a psychological thing going on there, and it's interesting. So statements are almost always better than questions. You basically just want to say something that you like about the person, and then say that you would like to get to know them better and throw out a date idea, which is, yeah, like, I would love to go to the beach with you on this day. I would love to go on a hike with you. I would love to grab coffee with you. It's just whatever you want to do with her, turn it into a statement. Or him for the ladies. But yeah, that's the whole point here. So statements are far, far better than questions. Just start using that. And another really important thing here, or more of a pro tip, it's not necessarily needed, but you can also invite them into something that you're already going to be doing with or without them. This is huge because then if they say no, they're not rejecting you because you're going to do it anyway without them. So in a way, you're just inviting them along for the ride. So if they can't go, then who cares? You're going to do that thing anyway. So this is really powerful, and I do this quite often in my own life when I invite women out on hikes with me. And if they say no, I'm going to do the hike anyway because I wanted to do it. I set aside time to do it. So if she's not going to join me, I'm going there anyway. I enjoy hiking and I like doing it by myself, and I do it just to get out of the house and get into nature. So I don't need her to be there with me. I have fun on my own as well. So that's another awesome pro tip. But basically, you just want to put all these things together and remind yourself that a quick rejection always beats getting rejected way further into a relationship. Because if it's going to end in rejection, it's always better that this happens sooner rather than later. Because the worst thing that could happen is you end up dating someone that you like and then getting into a relationship with them, and then them rejecting you, say, a year or two into the future after they've actually gotten to know you well and you've gotten to know them well and you've developed a lot of feelings for them. And then at that point when they reject you, it's going to hurt so much more than getting rejected from the beginning if they already knew that they weren't all that into you, and say maybe they were just choosing you out of a desire to not be single or desire to not be alone, that sort of thing. It just always is better to get rejected sooner rather than later. So anyway, I hope this video helped you. I hope you'll put these tips into practice, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Arrivederci!